Despite having deeper stakes in West Asia, is India being sidelined or India is choosing to be on the sides when Pakistan, which is an unlikely, unexpected actor, forming a diplomatic narrative using the ceasefire talks that are happening in Islamabad? Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to talk about this finalization of ceasefire agreement, the truce that is being called, but surprisingly in a country where no one expected, that is Pakistan. But the question here is, why Pakistan? The question here is, will there be any finalized agreement which will bring peace, which will bring stability to the much turbulent region of West Asia that we have specially seen in last 1 month? And most importantly, how India is playing this out. Why India was not a mediator here, why India was not even in consideration, and how and why India plans to take it long term. So let us start with understanding that what exactly has happened. So as of today, we are seeing that Pakistan is hosting the delegates from Iran and US to ensure the negotiation, the truce talk, the ceasefire final agreement which might come out as a result of these negotiations. Now this ceasefire was called on April 8th between US and Iran, and immediately it was hailed by the Prime Minister of Pakistan that they will be the ones who would be facilitating this mediation, who have brokered this. But a big question that has lied around this whole fact, because when we are talking about especially past 4 weeks and how it has unfolded in West Asia, Gulf states and also many other mediators have tried to negotiate, have tried to lobby support and bring both US and Iran on the table for conversation. But this has not yielded any result. Even as of now, when Pakistan seems to be mediating this, Israel does not approve of this choice. So when the war of Israel, US and Iran was on the brink of becoming a wider regional war with involving multiple states, with involving non-state actors, this is a welcome step at the global landscape where we get to see these talks which have been initiated. Now these talks have been initiated not just by Pakistan, it was US and also the Gulf countries which supported this thought, because the stability is very much required in that region to ensure that economy lives, which will facilitate the living of the beings present there. So in that order this has unfolded, and Pakistan playing it out seems an unexpected development, but this has happened. But the question is why? Because when we are talking about this very scenario, we have to understand that how the play is being leveled out at the global level. Now let us start with understanding that why exactly Pakistan has decided to do this. So first of all, this is one narrative setting, image enhancing attempt from Pakistan's end, so as to tell the world that we are also here. We are the ones who are friends with US also, we are the friends of Iran also, and we are playing a mediator role. We are the global mediators, we have the influence. So yes, this is a lot about narrative setting, but it has many layers that we need to understand here. Starting with the domestic political factor. As of now, there is internal unrest which is present in this country, and while US, Israel are striking Iran, the conflict between Pakistan and Afghanistan is present there. Furthermore, there is rising public anger in this politically volatile environment. Now what the regime wants? Regime wants some validation. In this context, this legitimacy and validation is being seeked through this international visibility. This is the first factor that we need to consider. Second factor we have is the economic vulnerabilities that are also present from the end of Pakistan. When we are talking about Strait of Hormuz blocked, we also need to understand that Pakistan's economy is also deeply exposed. It is in deep trouble, it has been in deep trouble, but the troubles would be heightened to such big numbers if Strait of Hormuz is not opened. The fuel prices have doubled up already, and there is extreme pressure of inflation, fiscal deficit, foreign exchange reserves and so much more. So Pakistan also wants to get relief on the economic front. Another factor that we need to consider here is linked with the economic front itself, because when we are talking about Pakistan's diaspora, around 5.5 million people are stationed across the Gulf region. Now, them working there is a huge source of what? Remittances. That means foreign exchange reserves are being filled through those remittances. There is a risk of that also going away if the war spreads out. And in this context, this mediation is not diplomacy, this is survival strategy to ensure that we survive on the economic front. Not just the economic front, we have to consider this from the security end as well. I have mentioned the tensions with Afghanistan, but how can we forget the tensions that with India have perennially existed? In this context, we have to remember how Pakistan has signed a defense pact with Saudi Arabia last year, where they have a NATO-style collective defense presence. That means an attack on one will be considered an attack on other, and they will be defending it. So if at all Saudi Arabia is roped into this Gulf war situation, which was at the risk of widening any time, then that means Pakistan has to join it. So Pakistan, given the economic situation, would not be very happy about this situation as well. So all in all, this mediation clearly seems like the whole idea here is to avoid the strategic overstretch. Apart from that, you cannot forget that Pakistan is not known for its diplomatic relations. Pakistan is known for being used. Pakistan is known for being pressurized, and in this context, it was the pressure of allies, Gulf states and also US to bring Iran on the table, and Pakistan is acting on these strategic expectations. Now, this is the need of Pakistan to mediate. There are factors that facilitate that mediation. The first factor here is the geographical presence. 900-kilometer border sharing with Iran. There is geographical proximity with the Gulf region. Gulf states have already certain type of proximity, which for example we have discussed. There is proximity to the Gulf region and Strait of Hormuz, and most importantly here, Pakistan also has multi-aligned diplomacy. Aligned with US, where we have security and military ties. We all know about the all-time favorite ally China, which is present there, which enhances the strategic partnership with Pakistan via CPEC, which is absolutely against India's integrity and also sovereignty. But at the same time, Pakistan also shares a relation with Gulf countries and Iran. And to further facilitate the situation, Pakistan has no US base. That means it is kind of a neutral ground, and it is not part of the war as of now. So, given the need of the Pakistan and also factors which made it a viable option. Now, we also have to bring in the factors where Pakistan started painting itself as the regional mediator, the neutral one which can get this sorted, but at the same time a lot of legitimacy which not coming was given by China's endorsement. And that brings another angle, because China would want that Pakistan will become their useful diplomatic proxy in West Asia. China does not get to enter, so China is sending the pawn, that is Pakistan. So we cannot just assume that Pakistan is standing there on its own. There are multiple factors around it. Now, the second main question that we need to understand here, that if anything at all can come from these talks. April 10, when delegations started coming over from Iran and US's higher office to sit down together and talk. What will be the result of these conversations when this war has extended over 6 weeks now? So in best scenario, we can expect that de-escalation will happen, the temporary ceasefire would be put in place and some stability might come in oil markets. But given the volatile nature, the sensitive nature and how this war has turned out up and until today, if these talks fail, there is risk of a wider regional war, bigger escalations from both sides. And this is when the regional mediator, Pakistan, might be forced to take sides because it would be decided. The finality of this peace talk would be happening on their own soil. The outcome heavily depends that how Iran and US are able to fill up the trust deficits, but at the same time, the outcome will not be just impacting these two entities, it will be an impact definitely across the world, but especially on the mediator which is bringing them on the table. Now finally moving to the side, we have talked enough about the mediator. The main question here that why India is not present in this conversation. Is India being sidelined or India is choosing to be on sides? So the first thing that we have been clear over the past sessions that we have had, that India has huge stakes in West Asia in terms of economic synergy, export, imports and so much more, such as Indian diaspora across West Asia being present and strategic projects such like Chabar port. But what we get to see as of now, that we have not even talked about any role in mediation, and Pakistan has gained the diplomatic visibility. So what is being painted as of now, or what it seems as if like, that India has high stakes, but in terms of influence, it is non-existent. But in this scenario, it is very important to consider certain factors. Now these factors, when we are looking at them, the first is the strategic autonomy that India has always talked about. India has relations with US, Israel and also Iran. And these are close ties. We are strategic partner with US. Iran, we have strategic projects as big as Chabar port. And in this context, if India wants to be the mediator, that means they would have to take some side and they would have to give up this image of neutrality where they talk about you do your business and let us do our own. So India's multi-alignment is a limitation for the credibility as a mediator. That is a factor here. That means getting too involved becomes risky because you might have to give up on your multi-alignment which you have at present. And that is why India is maintaining a very strategic caution because they know that there is a lot at stake that is present. So what India is choosing? Stability over activism, and India is choosing quite diplomacy over publicity. Because if you remember, the tankers passing through Strait of Hormuz, it was India's tankers which got permission. So the facilitation is present for India. If mediation is being done, our work is important here. Our lifeline, economic lifelines is stuck. That being allowed is more important here rather being published. And another important factor that is present, we have never had the mediator identity. Unlike the traditional mediators such as Qatar, such as Norway, we have never been on those lines. We never have been perceived as a neutral broker. We have never been seen as a conflict resolution specialist, and that is why, to ensure the high stakes, to make sure that they are safe, India has probably stayed on sidelines. And at the other end also, if India has been kept on sidelines, let's consider both sides because we cannot be sided on only one factor. Even if that is the scenario, then in this situation, if India has high stakes and limited influence, then there is a huge existential influential gap that India needs to duly fill with diplomacy so as to ensure that when we have reasons not to be part of it, and if at all we get to what kind of reality outcome would be seen. So this is also as equally important as understanding why India could have just decided to stay on the outlines. Now what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. A very important food for thought. What do you think should be the way forward from here? First, let me know what do you think. Is India kept on the sidelines or India decided to be on the sidelines? And then suggest the way forward in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.